Well, self-hatred is a real thing, one. And two, a lot of people is cool with the rules of the game as long as they got a seat.
To me, we've been having a fight as a community, as a country about Kamala Harris, and everybody says one thing or the other. Either she's not going to win because she's black and a woman, or she's not going to win because she's a bad candidate.
That was the one thing that I was thinking, that she inherited Biden's stink.
80% of the people were not happy with the direction the country was going in. And she's the face of that direction. She's the bus driver because Biden stepped off. So you got to show how you're going to change the direction. And she just kept telling everybody, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
The numbers dictate otherwise outside of Biden, who they claiming to have did something to his numbers.
Yeah.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Right Point of View YouTube channel with your favorite host, Ashley, and I'm back with another reaction video. And this one is on the Joe Budden podcast. He is a huge voice in Black media, and y'all, they just can't be honest. Even the title of his video was like self-hatred in the community or some crap like that. Like, it just, honestly, I don't understand. But anyways, I want to share this conversation with you guys because it's really interesting when I get into the minds of the Black community. Obviously, we know Black women voted like 90+% for Kamala Harris, and Black men did a little bit better than they did. But the stronghold that Democrats have on Black people in the United States is just wild to me. But anyways, I won't hold you any longer. Let's get right into it. The video starts now.
Came fast. There was no suspense. He was in a lead fast and early, and it was growing.
It held that shit.
And it held. And it was announced like that night. I'm used to them having to count votes.
Right. Yeah, we was sitting there like, all right, maybe we'll get it in 2 days or so. No.
Yeah, no. By the time I was headed to the strip club, that shit was called. And they certainly had it up inside the strip club, the election. And
on
a lot of
these,
yeah.
And guess what? Go ahead,
yeah, presidential viewing. And a lot of people in the New York nightlife is trumped out.
Oh, yeah.
The bartenders and the strippers are trumped out.
That's exactly what
Some of them Puerto Rican.
No, a lot of them. The Hispanic community was going crazy.
Some of them Puerto Rican.
They went big for Trump.
Yep, they did. They were going crazy.
No, they stepped.
Yeah, that island joke ain't mean shit to them.
Not at all. They stepped.
They were defended.
There's a deep conversation.
Because they have a sense of humor. Not everybody has a stick up their ass like the Democratic Party. And it's all good when they're cracking jokes to the Republicans, though. Such a double
conversation to be had there. I'm just not the person to have it. But there is certainly a conversation to be had there about,
It is.
It
is. So rather that than, it is.
Yeah, man, it's a deep conversation. It's a frustrating conversation for me, man.
Well, self-hatred is a real thing, one. And two, a lot of people is cool with the rules of the game as long as they got a seat.
Yeah.
But do they really have a seat?
No.
See what I'm saying? They don't have a seat. They just feel that their seat...
Yeah, but you won't get one.
They feel that their seat is higher up.
You won't get one.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, like we saying...
This political sparring or game that they're talking about, I don't know who specifically they're talking about that came out in support thinking they're going to get a seat or whatever. Have you? That even if that was the case, Democrats don't fall short of the very same strategies. Just saying. Politicians are known to just spew a bunch of crap, say what they think you want to hear, and then they get into their seat or their office and do jack shit. That's not exclusive to any one side. Both sides are definitely guilty of pandering to their audience, if you know what I mean.
I ain't the one to talk about it. I'm skipping it. But hey, if you listen out there, y'all can read my brain and know what I'm thinking. Hopefully.
No, I don't.
I mean, but you ain't wrong, though. I mean, to me, we've been having a fight as a community, as a country about Kamala Harris, and everybody says one thing or the other. Either she's not going to win because she's black and a woman, or she's not going to win because she's a bad candidate, right? And both can be true.
True.
And we don't have to pick between the two. And that, to me, is the point. I don't think she ran a good campaign.
Great. I'm so glad he said that. But we can also apply that to both sides as well. There are some people that were saying we don't need another white man in office. All of the stuff that they always like, it can, any side could have an audience or a group of people that say we're tired of white people or what, like the white racism has been rampant for a while now. You know what I mean? So to try to keep using this narrative like it's because she was black or it's because she's a woman, not the case. There are plenty of people I think that are ready for a woman, just not that woman.
And I think she got handed a bad set of circumstances.
1,000%.
Yeah, hot potato for sure.
1,000%. That was the one thing that I was thinking, that she inherited Biden's stink.
Yes.
As it relates to, us giving so much foreign aid to Israel and also to Ukraine when this country has so many significant problems. There's a homelessness crisis. Mm-hmm. There's,
hurricanes.
Exactly. There is the
inflation, the migrants,
inflation, migrants. It's just like, why are we giving away billions and billions and billions of dollars to fund wars when the country's suffering? And I think that that's what she inherited because she was part of the administration, even though these were not her decisions necessarily.
And that's the catch-22, right?
But they weren't necessarily not her decisions either. And I'll insert a clip somewhere in this video where Kamala actually says she wouldn't change anything. She didn't counter, Biden's how he's handled Israel and the whole Hamas thing, and she hasn't made clear what mistakes Biden's administration made and what she planned to do better, because I don't think she had a plan. I don't think she even knows a plan, honestly.
Because if you don't attach yourself to Biden, then they say, what's your experience? So you say, I was vice president. I was here for all this shit. Then they go, you was here for all this shit? Yeah.
There was, she couldn't win for losing.
I think what she could have done and should have done is separate herself from Biden on a couple key issues. Not all of them, but a couple key issues, especially the stuff that we don't like. You could say, the student loans, I was in his ear for that. You know what I mean? Or, getting, treating, black women's health issues better. I was here for that, right? We're fighting to get reproductive justice. I was there for that. But that war over there, I'm the one saying, let's stop it. Then when I'm president, I will stop this war. But she didn't do that. She kept playing to the right. And that's the thing I think that was the mistake. I said this last time, white people don't elect Democrats as president. Black and brown people do. In other words, nobody since Lyndon Baines Johnson in the 60s as a Democrat has won the presidency with a majority of white people. Most white people are going to vote for Donald Trump. So what are you going to do for your base? And what are you going to do to pull enough white people over to win? She went too far on the other end. So all the policy.
She went too far to the right? I don't think so at all. I think she was all the way left, and people were pulling up old clips of her saying, even some newer clips of her saying some outrageous things. Trump's ad actually that he was running about the gender surgery for illegals that are in prison. I mean, that did extremely well. It was effective because even her own base is not as radical as she is. She didn't go further to the right. She was trying to just land somewhere in the middle. That's how far left she was. You know what I mean? So again, these people just cannot be honest with themselves. And it's so hard to watch, guys. I really struggle watching these Black people talk about things in this way when they're doing so much damage to the minds of the community by just not being honest. You know what I mean?
Policies that she advocated were right-wing policies. And so she abandoned the people who would have gotten her home, that may have gotten her home. And people don't want that. The other thing is, the last thing I'll say about this right now is, going into the election, only 20% of Americans said that they were happy with the direction the country was going in. That means 80% of the people were not happy with the direction the country was going in. And she's the face of that direction. She's the bus driver because Biden stepped off. So you got to show how you're going to change the direction. And she just kept telling everybody, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. And Trump is saying, when I was president, things cost less. You had more money in your pocket. There were no wars. And he's naming all this. Now, Trump isn't telling the truth. Let me be clear.
No, he's not at
He's
all.
lying.
He's giving
surface level shit.
Potential facts, but they were not as a result of you. They were just circumstance. Like, okay, we wasn't in the war, but
they weren't as a result of you. So literally, peace in the Middle East, which we haven't seen in freaking who knows how long, and not starting new wars, not invading any new countries, that wasn't his decision. There are people who have come out since his administration that are saying he's a threat to democracy and he's a threat to this and that, and America's security, national security, because he wasn't listening to their rules to just start doing some wild things like they're used to. He was saying, no, wait, let's try to have a conversation. Let's try to not go into war and try to make some peace. And that was a result of his call. You know what I mean? Like, again, just dishonest or maybe ignorance. I don't know what it is, but
it wasn't because of you. Prices were cheaper. It wasn't necessarily because of you. Like, inflation is a real thing. So, yeah. Like,
but he made it look good.
Yeah.
You can make something look good. It's like in sports. You can have 20 points. Everybody's 20 points ain't the same. Some are empty points, some are real points. In this case, the numbers look good, but he wasn't responsible for that. You don't take credit. It's like they say on the wire. Like, you don't take credit for crime going up because you got to take credit for crime going down, or vice versa, right? That's the problem here. And so under Biden right now, the economy is stronger. Wall Street is stronger. There's a lot of great stuff happening under Biden, but I wouldn't give Biden all the credit for it. But
Wall Street is stronger. This is their problem. They're in a bubble. They are in a bubble. He's talking about Wall Street and stocks or whatever the case may be. That doesn't matter to the average American. It just doesn't. They want to know, can I afford eggs or mortgage or rent this month? Can I put gas in my car? As Melissa, I saw, said once, when your check engine light is on, or maybe it wasn't Melissa, it was a girl from The View. When your check engine light is on, you're not thinking about democracy or who Trump slept with 20 years ago. I see some of y'all in my comments like, how could you vote for a rapist and etc. Like, it is to a point where Americans don't care about the theater.
that's what's happening.
And they also do a horrible job of branding it.
Yes.
The Democratic Party does a really bad job at tooting their own horn. And the crazy part, too, is you can ask her a question about the economy, and she won't say what you just said.
Yeah.
Yo, the economy's stronger here. Under us, we had this economic growth in these sectors. She won't answer it concisely. She'll start talking about some other shit, and it was thrown.
I was born in the middle class, so I want us to be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be 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 unburdened by what has been.
Who we can be unburdened by who we have been.
That's what he's talking about. The foolery. She was saying she couldn't answer a simple question. If you are proud of your work with Biden, say it. Even the people handling her campaign would have given her some stuff on the teleprompter. I think the substance just wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Throwing people off. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think, in my personal opinion, some of those votes were hers to lose or hers to gain. And I think she just didn't show enough to win the people over that were middle of the road.
And that's what frustrates me, right? Because Donald Trump ain't answered a straight question.
Not once ever in life.
Never.
So she's
not once ever in life. That's what I'm saying. This is why they are a dying party. Seriously. They're talking people can't be honest and can't be right. Like, I don't get it. What is the stronghold with the Democrats? I just don't understand. Regardless of the party, don't you just want the best for the community or for your lives? Why does it feel like it's like tug of war? Like we're like, come over to this side. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Choose the side that is best for you.
getting held to a different standard.
He's charismatic though, and his base is his base, and he knew what his base was, and he catered to his base.
But some people weren't in his base. Like, I'm in the barbershop, I'm online, I'm in the cookouts, and people are saying I'm voting for Trump. They not his base, and they still voting for him.
But what you just said was the Democratic nominee has to win with the blacks and the browns. The second that she loses some of those blacks and browns, it's insurmountable for her to win.
Right. I'm just wondering why so many blacks and browns were persuaded by Trump. But they've already seen what happens under Trump. They aunties and uncles died under Trump. They lost stuff under Trump. And they still like, you know what? Let me try that one more time. Because at least it ain't her. And that's the part that confuses me and frustrates me a little bit. And it's not just because she's black and it's not just because she's a woman, but that does play a part in it. That plays a part in it a lot to me.
People died under him? What is he talking about? COVID? What could he be talking about? Listen, people are believing their own eyes, okay? You can keep just saying the same thing and hoping it lands, but people are walking away from that. And it's time for you guys to re-strategize because that is just, it's not working and it's pretty pathetic actually at this point.
I think that's lazy.
Yeah, I don't.
What, the whole woman argument, the fact that she's a woman?
Yeah.
Me too.
Period.
Also, tell me why.
I'm trying to be careful with this.
Yeah, I don't
Don't
want.
I think it's like, I said this both, but I'm saying I don't want to make that the only issue because I think there are a lot of people who don't.
It's definitely an issue. It is.
I don't see that at all.
Me either.
Period.
I really don't.
Thank you. Finally, because I was actually expecting Joe Budden to pander just like a Charlemagne, but thank you. Yes, I don't see it either. I actually believe if Michelle Obama ran, well, maybe not today, because I think everybody's just really hip to Hollywood and all of their theater. But once upon a time, I believe, like maybe just after Obama, perhaps before people start to really wake up about his term, she probably would have won. Honestly, if she ran when Hillary did, I think she would have got it. I'm not even lying. She was not the woman, just her or Hillary.
There's a lot of men that expressed there's no way I want a bitch in the White House, not a black bitch.
I've had people tell me that, not the black
believe
bitch
that.
part, but just a woman part for sure.
I believe that.
The numbers dictate otherwise.
How
The
so?
amount of people that came out to vote for Kamala is the same amount of people that came out for the last few Democratic nominees
Period.
outside of Biden, who they claiming to have did something to his numbers.
Yeah, that had 20,
Her number
20 million
is,
numbers magically out of nowhere.
Right,
He
but-
was in the 80s.
Yes, they touched on that too. I'm going to insert that as well. Can you imagine? Like, look at those results. Where did those people come from? What happened? Not before and not after. Miraculously, 20 million people just popped up for Biden out of nowhere. Yake.
She was in the 60s along with everybody else that ran. Are you of the belief that Michelle Obama could have won?
No, absolutely not.
See, that's why I disagree with that.
I disagree. with that too.
I disagree with that.
She's popular because she's not running for anything.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, when Barack Obama was running, they were calling her a monkey. They were calling her an ape. They were saying she was crazy, radical, all this shit. It's not until she went.
Who's they? Even if that is true, which it could be, it probably wasn't Dems. You know what I mean? Dems would have come out for Michelle. Every other group, literally every other group abandoned. Any little speckles of that group she had is dying, okay? And Black people seem to be the only ones who are still hanging on. And I truly believe it's because they watch platforms like this and get this type of messaging, and it's just a program. And it's so disappointing. They need to grow and evolve from this party. It's really not about left or right or Dems or Republicans, conservatives or liberals. It's about right and wrong, good and evil. You know what I mean?
Wasn't a political threat that everybody started hugging her and loving her.
Let me ask you a question.
Very true.
Let me ask you a question. The votes that Kamala lost, that black male vote, right? Some of that white woman vote, some of that Hispanic vote. Do you think that when Michelle Obama gets on TV and starts to running her mouth, she gains that vote?
Depends on what she says. See, but
how she says it.
But that's where I think some people on the Kamala side are lacking accountability.
Bro,
I
that
agree.
matters, bro.
Like, it's. I'm comfortable having this conversation in hindsight. I didn't really feel great about lending my voice to some of this stuff because this is a really powerful platform.
True.
And podcasters clearly have helped to decide things in one way or another.
For sure.
When
On both sides, she was running her little podcast as well. And why wouldn't you want to put light on your platform, being that it is powerful, especially to the community that you represent? Why wouldn't you want to put truth on the platform? Regardless of what side of the aisle it falls on, you should be an advocate for truth, Joe Budden. Seriously. What is wrong with just, Joe Rogan said the same thing for a long time, but he was willing to have both. Why not do the same thing? Just be neutral, seek truth. You don't have to just not speak at all. He wasn't liking what he was seeing with the Democrats and Kamala, but he said nothing. He can say it now in hindsight. But he also didn't want to say anything to the other side because he doesn't want to help them. So you just said nothing, essentially. Who did that help?
Dana White is up there thanking the Nelk boys and fucking Aiden Ross and whoever. See, but long before that,
what about Club Shay Shay that she went on? That's a Black media outlet. What about Call Her Daddy and some of the stuff she was doing? I just don't get it. I don't get it. These people are like, it's like, I don't know. Like brainwashing is a real thing. Honestly, it really is.
Probably one of the best things to happen to Trump was him losing the last one. Because I can tell you, as somebody that travels every year, my last 2 times in South Carolina when I landed at the airport, they stopped the streets. They shut the streets down because Trump is here talking to people. Mm-hmm. My last time in Florida, like it seemed like every time I traveled, that dude was in a neighboring city talking to somebody. Bruh. It wasn't just the Chef G's and the tricks. He had his bases covered in terms of I'm hitting the Potters, I'm hitting the black entertainers, I'm hitting the white Potters, and I'm hitting the streets. He hit the streets. He did. And all he had to do was say, hey, yo, shit is fucked up. Mm-hmm. Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else mattered.
Nothing else mattered.
And to your point with the economy, I'm sorry for cutting you off. You're saying the stock market is here, the stock market is there. Average, everyday Joe Schmo American,
he spoke to them,
don't give a fuck about the stock market.
That's true.
They don't. So even if you're saying, yo, we hit these benchmarks in the economy, the average person don't feel it because fucking greens is higher. Fucking eggs, Brussels sprouts is higher, eggs is higher. That's what people are talking about.
But unemployment is low. I mean, it's interesting.
Unemployment is low, but that's a stat that can be played with.
But most people have jobs. All I'm saying is most people have jobs.
What kind of jobs? You got 40-year-olds working at McDonald's now. So yeah, the unemployment numbers are going to reflect that people are employed, but it's gainfully employed. Now you have grown people that need 2 jobs just to put food on the table for necessities.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
He spoke to those people, yes, not just better, a lot better.
Yes.
And it's okay to have voted for Kamala and say this in hindsight. She came off as disingenuous.
Period. She absolutely did. And people always try to do this thing with Trump, like he's this billionaire, but he still understands both sides. He knows what the average person, and like he said, he's in the streets. He's talking to people. He's getting in the paint. So he's hearing their grievances and he's speaking directly to them. And he had a common sense plan. When they asked him, how do you plan to fix the economy? Boom, 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 boom. When they say he can never answer a question, that's a flat out lie. Joe Budden actually is being honest, even though he still voted Kamala. It's just crazy.
And every time somebody tried to find a way to say that, the brigade popped up to say,
y'all don't like
Nah. That's why I disagree. I think that you're right that he spoke to them better. That's true. But I think the caveat to that is speaking to somebody better doesn't mean you're speaking to them truthfully or with a solution. I'm with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just pointing that out because I don't want the audience to hear he spoke to them as if he has a solution. I know y'all not saying that. I just don't want people to confuse that. Donald Trump absolutely spoke to preachers speak to people all the time and take their money, right? You can speak to people's.
Do you remember who had a preacher voice? Was Kamala, literally talking like she's a pastor.
But joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
up truthful. She didn't even have an identity on the campaign. And then Candace blew it up with the whole, oh my gosh, she was cooked. Cooked. She didn't have a chance. Honestly, she had no chance. And these people just need to be honest, bro.
Pain and say it wrong. Kamala Harris, I agree with you, is not as charismatic, is not as good a candidate. Neither was Hillary Clinton, right? But the other thing here is, it's not just that.
Yeah, but Hillary still got up there and tried to address the concerns.
She answered
she did.
I think she did too.
Listen, Mark, we telling you, or there's people out there saying we did not get that from Kamala.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm asking the why, though, because sometimes two candidates can say the exact same.
He's not disagreeing with their points, but he's trying to understand why. They're just saying she didn't do a good job communicating the message. She had no policy she could properly articulate. And then when they're asking her questions about Biden's administration, she said she wouldn't change a thing. So if life sucks for Americans and the candidate that you want us to pick is saying she wouldn't change anything, it's a no-brainer. It's simple math. She's a no.
Thing, and we can hear it from one person and we can't hear it from the other.
Cool. You know
Exactly.
why? Because I resonated with you with some level of relatability.
Right. And I'm saying that there were a lot of attacks on Kamala Harris. In addition to all the stuff y'all saying, which is true, again, I ain't disagreeing with nothing y'all just said. But on top of that, some of people's inability to hear her was because she's a black woman. Because of the
Are you kidding me? The attacks on Kamala Harris? Are you kidding me? Nobody took more shots than Donald J. Trump. Literally and figuratively.
The package she comes, it's not just her being a black woman, it's about class, it's about race, it's about gender, it's about her coming after Joe Biden's administration. It's a lot of factors, but yes, race and gender
But
matter.
she never, to your earlier point, spoke against that. So when they very directly asked her, hey, are you going to do the same shit that Biden did in regards to Ukraine and fucking Israel? And she said yes.
She picked them up.
Yeah, but what else can you say?
Mark, that is a crucial mistake.
I agree.
That is a crucial mistake.
Facts on facts on facts, okay? Crucial. And Mark just cannot be honest. I am curious what you guys think of the stronghold that Democrats have on the Black community. I am very curious to know why. What is so wrong with just looking at another option as a possibility? What did they have against progression, success, entrepreneurship, closed borders, no gender neutral bathrooms, no surgery on children? Like, what do you guys have against this? It doesn't make any sense. You guys are fighting yourselves. I don't get it. Anyways, Americans have spoken. This is a non-issue at this point. And shout out Joe Budden anyway for being honest. I do appreciate it. Mark, do better. Just do better. There's some real soul searching that needs to start happening with this party, or next time around, it's going to be worse until maybe Republicans just take over. You know what I mean? And someone needs to explain where those 20 million votes went. Someone really does need to address that. And I hope when Trump gets in office, he starts just releasing files. Just release it all. Screw it. Let's start fresh. Let the cats out of the bag, and we can all, you know what I mean? Heal. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for listening. As usual, drop your comment below, like this video, subscribe, stick around. I got plenty more stuff coming your way, and I will see you on the next one. Until the next time.